spent $10,000 on one tooth and it was worth every penny. But the journey to get there, painful. Let me tell you why. So I have a script here, y'all. And the reason I have a script is to make sure that this video is as efficient as possible. Also, for you that don't know, I used to struggle with a speech impediment. I still struggle with speech. So I just want to be as efficient and effective as I possibly can in this video. So that's why I have a script and I wanted to document all the details. So for those of you who struggle with missing a tooth or appearances, this will also help you. So when I was around 4 or 5 years of age, I fell down and hurt my teeth. Okay, at the time I didn't understand why they were hurting, but it turned out that they were just my baby teeth. I didn't lose any teeth then, but as I got older, my baby teeth eventually fell out and my adult teeth started coming in. However, there was one tooth that never came down. And for the longest time, I didn't know why. So I had fell when I was roughly around 4 or 5 years old. I can't remember where I was going, but we were going to the store and I fell. And that fall caused me to be missing a tooth for 15, almost 20 years of my life. And it never came down. So we didn't know why, but I went to the dentist for cleanings and they took x-rays and eventually discovered something shocking. There was a tooth lodged into my nose. Don't ask me how or why. I mean, I assumed that it was due because it was because I had fell. All right. Now, I had to undergo oral surgery. It wasn't right then and there. It was once I started to lose all my baby teeth, my grown-up teeth started to come down. And, I was fortunate to get it removed. I was probably around 12 or 13 years of age at the time. After the surgery, when my parents took me to the car, the surgeon joked that I could have ice cream. My parents saw me really, really excited because I wanted a milkshake. I said milkshake. And they took me to get it. I believe I went to this cookout. If y'all haven't been to cookout, it's pretty good. I got so excited, but my parents laughed and told me to calm down, and they were just joking. Still, they were relieved to see I was okay, and I was feeling good. After that, I went to see an orthodontist. So I had crooked teeth. My front teeth were crooked. So I had like a gap where you could see that I was missing a tooth, but it really wasn't as normal. And it really wasn't as noticeable because I had a big gap as well. And my teeth were crooked, so it kind of made up for it a little. This helped mask the fact that I was missing a front tooth. Since I had crooked teeth, that helped me not feel as insecure, but I was still insecure. But it still affected my confidence. Even after getting braces, I struggled with insecurity in middle school and high school. I avoided hanging out with friends, especially when it involved eating together. So I'll walk around in school sometimes, like putting my head down, covering my mouth so people wouldn't see my teeth, just because I wasn't like confident in myself. And I was always self-conscious. I was always thinking about what other people would think about me. So, sometimes when I accidentally laughed, people would see that and they would notice and say, "Oh, I didn't know you were missing a front tooth, Jamari." And that really hurt, especially in high school. Everybody's grown and old and they're able to remember stuff. So that really it really hurt me because like I was always someone who was quiet and introverted, and then to just get picked on and never feel like I could be a part of somewhere some group without being judged. It really affected me. So I just pretended to not even listen to what they said. I would kind of ignore, but deep down, like they were telling the truth. It really was. When people call out your pain points, it hurts. So it was a tough time for me. I often asked myself, why me? And even broke down crying to my parents, telling them I wasn't happy because people made fun of me. There wasn't much they could do at the time though, We consulted several oral surgeons about getting a dental implant, but they all said I had to wait until I was 21 when my jaw had fully developed. So, for most of you who may or may not know, as a man, we stop growing at 21. Okay, so if I would have got that dental implant before then, all that money could have went down the drain, and I could have possibly had an emergency surgery, and something could have went wrong with the surgery. So if you're thinking about getting a dental implant, definitely wait until you're 21, or if you're older and you have any questions, please let me know. Um, that just felt like an eternity because I was like 12 or 13 at that time, or maybe I was a little older. I can't remember. It was somewhere around 13 to 15. I remember that I had braces all the way till I was in, I think, 11th grade. So it's roughly 16, 17, something like that. And after I was wearing the braces for 2 to 4 years, my orthodontist, Dr. McKee, suggested a solution, a partial flipper. It was a removable dental appliance with a fake tooth, which was attached to my retainer. At first it was a huge relief, but over time I got tired of wearing my retainer. In high school, I wore it constantly, even while eating. Even though I knew I wasn't supposed to, uh, I felt too embarrassed to take it out in front of people. Some classmates would ask, "Why do you always wear your retainer? Aren't you supposed to take it out?" But I never told anyone the real reason. I just couldn't bring myself to it. I told them I could eat with it, even though I knew I couldn't, and it would get possibly damaged. But at that point, my appearance mattered more than anything. Even in college, the struggle continued. My flipper, my fake tooth didn't match my other teeth. It was like yellow, and when I would take pictures and go hang out with friends, it would be noticeable. Um, and it was shorter than my real teeth because it had to be shorter to make sure that I wouldn't damage anything, especially when I got the implant in my gums. So this made it hard to feel confident, even though I wanted to be more outgoing. After graduating with my degree in simulation and game development, I started working in tech. Even in college, I struggled with confidence, and I had the flipper where the teeth was yellow, and when you're not confident in yourself and you deal with something like that, it really affects you. It affects your self-esteem. It affects you in public settings. So I dealt with a lot of those struggles, y'all. So I know a lot of you probably don't know me like that. This is the first time I'm actually making a video like this in I don't know how long, because I've never really talked about it like this openly on the internet. So if y'all have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask me. Um, but yeah, like once I was in college and I was presenting in front of the class, I would stutter a lot. I just felt like I didn't blend in. Always felt like people would look at my teeth, and I always felt like I was being judged, like I was reading people's mind and they were saying bad things about my teeth, and like I just didn't feel as attractive to myself, and I didn't think others would find me attractive. Um, and then once I started working in tech, when people would ask me to eat out with them, especially at work or eat together in the cafe, I would just prefer to eat alone because I felt embarrassed about my tooth flipper. I didn't want to have to take it out and them seeing like a whole bunch of space and that I was missing a tooth. Even though I was making great progress in my professional life, that insecurity still weighed on me. One thing that helped me was working out. I started hitting the gym hard, and it helped me deal with the pain and my insecurity. It gave me an outlet, something I can control. No matter what, I made no excuses and showed up. So finally, when I turned 21, I was able to get the dental implant. And working out, y'all, like I played sports in high school. I played uh, varsity football my junior and senior year. I was a cornerback. I didn't start. I was doing it to also get more attention, be more confident. I saw that if other football players played sports, they got like more girls and they were popular, and so I wanted to participate into that. I had fun doing it. Um, but yeah, I just did that as well to become more confident, be active. I always wanted to be active. I took weightlifting while I was playing football, and that was really one of the truest experiences of weightlifting that I got exposed to was when I did that. Aside from working out my dad and a few family members' houses, that was really like the truest experience when it came to like lifting weights. And when I first started, I could barely lift the bar, but just fitness has allowed me to be more confident and speak to y'all how I'm speaking today to the camera. Um, so it was a long process. This whole process of getting a dental implant took me roughly around a year. First, I had to get a bone graft. So, bone graft is essentially where they stuff bone in your like gums because my bone was deteriorating from not having bone in that area for a long time because I was missing a tooth. So if you're missing a tooth, I highly recommend that you get that checked on because it can affect all your other teeth and possibly make all your other teeth fall out. Um, so once I got the bone graft into my gloves, they made sure that the implant would be stable. Then after several months, I had to get the actual screw in my mouth. So it's two separate processes. Sometimes some people can get the bone graft and the implant together, but if you aren't able to get both at the same time, you'll have to get one done at different times. That way, you allow enough recovery and healing. So, final surgery, it happened in 2019. I remember my oral surgeon, Dr. Ahmad from Capital Oral Surgery, telling me one day I'll be able to bite into the apple perfectly without worrying about my teeth coming out in the apple. Like, man, I love that man. Like, I truly do. Like, he changed my life. He changed my life. And he was right. He was right. But like getting there, like I said, it wasn't easy. For 3 to 4 months, I had no front tooth at all. I couldn't even wear a flipper most of the time. I was training hard in the gym then. I had to hide my missing tooth. I remember I was working out my homeboy, Juwan, and we would wake up early or we would go after he got off of work or I got done with school and we would work on train. I would wear this Star Wars looking mask where I could breathe through. That way nobody could see that I was missing a tooth while I was recovering. The only reason I did that was, I was subconscious. I didn't want nobody to know. Um, so he never knew at this time. After all that, I finally got the permanent implant. The cosmetic dentist made sure that the shade matched all my other teeth perfectly. Okay? So for a long time, I was walking around with a fake tooth. One was like yellow, like gold yellow, almost like I had like gold teeth. And that affected my confidence. And now, when I smile, you can barely tell it's an implant. Most people never know. The total cost, like I said, it was 10 grand, $10,000. But let me tell you, it was definitely worth every penny. So this experience taught me a lot. Looks do matter. Confidence matters. If you don't feel your best, you won't perform your best in life. Okay? Some people say looks don't matter, but that's just not true. The way you look affects how you feel about yourself. Okay? How you interact with others and how you perceive yourself. So if you're struggling with something that affects your confidence, whether it's your teeth, your body, or anything else, you deserve to do something about it. You get one life and you owe it to yourself to look and feel your best. If you're going through a dental implant process or thinking about it, feel free to reach out to me. I know what it's like, and I can tell you it's a long journey, but it's worth it. If you're struggling with any other area of your life, as far as fitness, mindset, please reach out. Drop a comment below. Like I said, I'm not going to judge you. This is a judgment-free zone. I love helping people. I love serving people, and I believe that God put me on this world to, inspire and motivate and help you become that best version of yourself as far as you becoming more confident, more extroverted, and believing in yourself, doing things that you thought once wasn't capable, that you're capable of doing them with the right guidance, the right support, the right help. We all need help at times. So just wanted to share that with y'all. And remember to stay strong, stay super. See you next time.